I'm Dave DeBoer. I'm kind of heading up venues. So if you have a building, a park, anything you could think of, we'd love to have you join us. As Kevin said, right now it's kind of a two-step process. The first step is sign up, register your venue. If you have a building, like I said, anything you have, go on the website. There's a venue tab right up there. You're going to fill out a profile. Like Kevin said, as an artist, you're going to want to give as much detail as possible. You're going to think, what would an artist want and what do I have that they would need? If you have a white wall that they can nail a painting on, or if you have projectors, or if you have a screen, anything that could sell your building to an artist to show there, you'd want to put on your profile. If it's a multiple workspace, if it's for one showing, anything of that sort. The next thing is, Rick kind of showed a little bit about the boundaries. We've been having a lot of emails and calls come in about I'm outside the boundaries or anything. There's a lot of organizations that we knew were out there but didn't necessarily fit into the boundaries. If there are organizations like that, we've been working with them to find spaces downtown that don't have either curators or need help. There's a lot of volunteers that have been helping us with that. And that kind of comes to the matching process. What we want to do with the matching process is, in a couple weeks, you have the ability to search. So when you have your venue up there, if you go to the venue tab, there will be a list of venues. You can see the featured venues. Right now, we have 9 venues that we've kind of worked with. UICA, there's a couple parks, the old Federal Building. In a couple weeks, you'll be able to search venues. So part of the process of getting a venue is you sign up, and then we take your venue, and you have to go through an application process. We go to the venue, we verify that everything is correct, we kind of make sure that your profile matches there. It's just kind of a way we can make sure whoever is showing is the actual building. So back to searching for an artist. What you can do on there, you saw in the fields, you can have different things. If you have AV equipment, things like that, that you're going to want to show, you can do that. The biggest thing I can say is, why would an artist want to use you? As a building, you can have many different attributes. You can have parks. We really want you to get creative. The biggest thing of ArtPrize is to think outside the box. If you have a building, that's great, but think of your parking lots. Think of your outdoor spaces. A lot of the inquiries have been very traditional. I have, a gallery. That's fantastic. But also, I have a parking lot, or I have many different things. Don't think of just traditional spaces. Think of a lot of different things. We really want to open this up for the area to kind of like do what you want to do. We don't want to say this is what you have to do. It's kind of open for everything. So, yeah. So we'll be outside if you have more questions. So.
All right. There's a few more questions that were themes that came out in some of the emails and such. Paul Moore, are you in the room? You have the big... Okay. Anyway. Let me just speak briefly. There's some question that's been out there, too, about use of images and stuff. When an artist submits their work, we want to be able to use images from that to be able to promote you to the people that are taking place in ArtPrize, the audience. So that's why we ask for the rights to use images that you submit, and also images of your work when it's installed, to promote it to the group. And this is Paul. And I'm trying to think like what some other themes that have emerged in the...
Yeah, well I can...
This is Paul Moore.
I'm Paul Moore. I'm hustling to try to gather all these communications. There are a bunch of people in the back, by the way. I've been up there looking at them. They're packed in. If you guys are able to scooch in at all and allow some more people in here, I think there's just there's people standing outside the door. A bunch of people can't hear right now, or don't scoot in. I'll just keep moving. So yeah, a bunch of people. Say what? The gallery, there's some technical difficulties with that overflow space in the gallery right now that people are experiencing. So anyway, a bunch of people are asking about the 50 bucks. 50 bucks to register as an artist. You want to talk about that a tad?
Well, I think Kevin addressed it pretty well in that it's really about, it's like entering any other juried show. We have costs that we're going to be incurring in terms of, we've already incurred building software, continuing to build software, all the systems to support it. For the venues, it's about costs around signage, mapping, all that sort of stuff to help guide people to you. That's it.
So this is a pretty good question. What else? There's a lot of concern about the whole public vote thing, obviously. Will there be other events going on, formal presentations, gatherings, Q&A opportunities, a conference? Will there be scholars and critics who can provide some context for some of the work that will be presented outside of the public vote?
Yeah, Bill Holsinger Robinson, part of the ArtPrize and Pomegranate Studios team. Actually, all of those things, there's a loose answer yes to that. Those will be things that we'll actually be announcing throughout the summer. But we're actually looking for really interesting ways to, again, engage in this conversation about art. We're talking to a number of people in the art community right now, worldwide, and bringing them in to talk about the work that's being displayed, talk about this whole sense of public voting, talk about rebooting the conversation on the whole. So you'll see announcements of things come up as we solidify those as well, but most definitely.
Work. Okay, so let's talk about work for a second here. Something popped up. A question came in, first of all, about the rules, the official rules. Question about work. I believe in the official rules says ArtPrize reserves the right to use all information, imagery, documentation on the artist, the final work, and the process of creating the work provided by the artist. There is a comment that sounds like ArtPrize is trying to own, I think, all work in perpetuity. You already addressed that? Capital W. Okay, we're going to try to make the contracts and things a little bit more user-friendly. And then something you've been hearing a lot about work.
Yeah, a question I've gotten a lot, just an email the last couple of days, is how is a work defined? Like how is an entry defined? You know, people are writing me and they're saying, I'm a photographer, I do these series of photographs, do I have to pick a single photo if it's only 5 by 7 to enter in this huge competition? The answer is no. The answer is works are defined as whatever your entire entry into the competition is. How big will that be is going to depend a lot on the amount of space that you're able to secure with the venue. Even just here in UICA, for example, you know, we've sort of roughed out how we think that should be divided up. Some of those spaces are really big. Some of those spaces, like if you're familiar with the in-space gallery, is quite small. Some people might say, I've got, 20 feet of usable wall space, and I want to divide it into 5 pieces. Well, if that's that venue's choice, they can do that. But as an artist, you're going to think, well, okay, I can probably hang about 1 painting on that. Somebody else might look at that wall and say, one artist has the run of that wall, and then they can just put a whole series of paintings. But the important thing to remember is it should be a body of work. This is something that the public is going to have a single vote on. So if it is a series of 3 paintings, they're not going to be able to vote for 1 painting and not vote for another painting. It is your single entry. It is the unit on which the public will be voting. Just want to make that clear.